10 incredible things to do in Baku. Number 1. Check out the old town of Baku. The old town is fortified by a medieval stone wall that is as old as the city itself. Within this wall, you will find many interesting sites waiting for you to explore. One of the sites I highly recommend you visit is the Palace of the Shirvanshahs, a 15th century palace complex, where you will find the palace, the burial vaults, and the Shah's Mosque. You can also pay to get in and see the relics and artifacts they keep in the palace, or you can enjoy the view of the palace from the outside. In front of the palace, there is an awesome photo spot from the balcony of the palace, where you will be able to capture the old Shah's Mosque as well as the hypermodern flaming towers in one frame, showing the stark contrast between the old and the new. Be sure to keep an eye out for that while walking around. Other than the palace, there is also the ancient Muhammad Mosque built in the 11th century that you can visit, the Maiden Tower, a 12th century monument that you can climb, and the beautiful crisscrossing old streets that make you feel like you are traveling in time. Number 2. Visit Bibi-Heybat Mosque and check out its interior. Just outside of the city center, along the highway going south, you will find a big mosque located on the side of a mountain. From the outside, it may seem like a regular mosque, but the true beauty of the mosque lies within its stone wall. Inside Bibi-Heybat Mosque, you will find the tomb of Uke Makanum, a descendant of Prophet Muhammad, which is beautifully decorated with sparkling green walls and ceiling, while Islamic patterns can be found in almost every corner of the mosque's interior. Bibi-Heybat Mosque is now a popular place for pilgrims to visit from all over Azerbaijan, especially women, as it is a place of worship for infertile women. Legend has it that some women came here on foot, worshipped, and within a year gained the ability to give birth. Number 3. Admire the hypermodern beauty of Heydar Aliyev Center. Heydar Aliyev Center is probably one of the most beautiful and significant modern pieces of architecture in the entire city. It is the brainchild of the late Iraqi-British architect, Zaha Hadid. Its distinct fluid look of curves and flows stand out from everything you will find in the city. The complex often hosts exhibitions as well as activities and gala concerts. For about 15 AZN per person, you can get inside and check out the exhibition that is currently happening. For a full list of events and activities being held at Heydar Aliyev Center, be sure to check out the official website for more info. Even if you don't plan to see the exhibition, the surrounding park is also a great place to go picnic or simply hang out with your friends and enjoy the building from the outside. Number 4. Buy some spices and tea leaves at Yashil Bazaar. On your way from Heydar Aliyev Center, be sure to opt in for a walk back to the city center so you can pass by Yashil Bazaar, a huge market where you will find a good variety of fresh fruits, colorful spices, delicious delights that you can buy back home as a souvenir. People are very welcoming and they will let you try many of their local snacks and sweets for free if you are curious. These Azeri versions of Turkish delights are extremely sweet though, and so if you are planning to buy some sweets back home, be sure to try them all out first. With most bazaars, don't forget to negotiate with the vendor before buying anything. It's part of their crafts and they do seem to enjoy a good bargain, so give them all you have and smile a lot. Number 5. Stroll along Baku Promenade and check out mini Venice. One of my favorite pastime in Baku is to go on a long walk along Baku Promenade in the evening. This 4-kilometer long promenade is located along the coast of the Caspian Sea, and it goes all the way from the House of Government to the Carpet Museum, and many interesting things to see along the way. Once you step foot on the promenade, you will find yourself on the spacious walk path right by the beautiful Caspian Sea, and you will be able to see the flaming towers, the Caspian Waterfront Mall, and all the beautiful architecture along the promenade. One of the most photogenic places in Baku is the mini Venice, a small network of waterways, built to depict what Venice looks like, hence the name. It is pretty gimmicky with people waiting in a long queue to get on one of these boats, but I got to admit, they did a great job building it, and despite its gimmick purpose, the place is very photogenic, especially at sunset, so be sure to check it out. Be sure to also check out the Carpet Museum once you are done at Mini Venice. It is in a building shaped like a carpet. You can't miss it. Number 6. Hike up the Highland Park at sunset. After you have reached the Carpet Museum, continue across the road and walk up the stairs where it will lead you to the top of the Highland Park, a beautiful park with an unmatched panoramic view of Baku. There are over 250 steps that stand between you and a balcony with the panoramic view of the city, so be prepared to walk up. You can also spend one AZN and take the funicular up to the top as well if you don't feel like walking. The best time to visit the Highland Park is right before the sunset, so that you will be able to avoid the heat while climbing, and by the time you arrive at the top, you should be able to catch the sunset in time. Up at the top, you will find several monuments dedicated to the soldiers and civilians that were killed during the Black January massacre, a great reminder of the dark, often unknown past of the people of Azerbaijan. Be sure to stay up there until it's dark so that you can see the flaming towers and the light show up close. It is quite a sight to behold, especially when they projected a flame on the flaming towers. Number 8. Go on a day trip to Gobustan and the mud volcanoes. Are you getting tired of spending your day in a big city like Baku? Why not spend a day exploring all the different landscapes around the city instead? There are sites like Gobustan, a place where they discovered prehistoric rock engravings, and mud volcanoes, one of the few mud volcano where you can put your hands in it, that you should not miss when you are visiting Baku. Gobustan, for example, is a great place for you to learn about the prehistoric people that settled in this part of the world since the 8th millennium BC. Gobustan may not seem like a place of interest when you look at it from the outside, but what is interesting about Gobustan is all the thousands of rock engravings and petroglyphs that depict hunting scenes, people, ships, constellations and animals, some of them as old as 12th century BC. In order to appreciate Gobustan, you will need a tour guide to explain everything for you, as there is no English sign explaining what each engraving means, so I would recommend you get a tour take you there. A tour I recommend you go with is the Gobustan and Absheron tour, all-inclusive, tour which will take you from Baku to Gobustan as well as mud volcanoes, Yanadag, Burning Mountain, and Ateshgah Fire Temple for around $50 AZN per person including lunch. The guide speaks perfect English and they will be able to explain everything about Gobustan and the culture of Azerbaijan in greater detail. Be sure to book the tour day before. The entrance fee to Gobustan is 10 AZN for adults and 1 AZN for students. Mud Volcanoes is another great site to see near Baku, and it is also included in the places you will be visiting with the tour. There are several mud volcanoes around Baku and the tour will take you to one of them and let you stroll around. Be sure to try and stick your hands in it. Due to the water from the Caspian Sea, the mud volcanoes around Baku are surprisingly cold. How often do you get to stick a hand into a mud volcano, right? There are many other day trips and tours you can take from Baku, and if you are interested to explore further or look for a more private trip, I highly recommend you browse through all the available tours here. Number 7. Be blown away by the beauty and scale of Heydar Mosque at night. One of the hidden gems my local friend showed me while I was in Baku is the Heydar Mosque, a massive mosque located in the northern part of the city. For some reason, the moment I set my eyes on the mosque, it just reminded me of a cathedral I saw in Copenhagen. What makes Heydar Mosque so special is how the entire mosque lit up at night, creating a forever calming presence of the mosque that overlooks the quiet neighborhood around the area. Unfortunately, the mosque is not open to the public, and so we were only able to appreciate it from the outside, but that was more than enough for me. If you have the time, be be sure to take a taxi up here and check out Heydar Mosque at night. Number 9. Learn about the history of the Zoroastrianism in Azerbaijan at Ateshgah Fire Temple. Another great tourist attraction that is located not too far from Baku is the Ateshgah Fire Temple, a 17th century place of worship that was frequented by the Hindus, Sikhs, and most important of all, the Zoroastrians. The temple featured a natural eternal flame, giving it its name. Unfortunately, the eternal flame went out in 1969 after a century of gas exploitation in the surrounding area. Now, the fire is lit again via a gas pipe connected from another city. The temple itself is located in a castle-like fortification with the fire located at the center, whereas the rooms to the museum surround the temple itself. The entrance fee to the fire temple is 4 AZN for adults and 1 AZN for students. Again, in order to understand how Zoroastrianism travels from north of India to here and spread throughout the ancient Persian world is best explained by the tour guide. Thankfully, the visit to Ateshgah Fire Temple is often included in the day trip itinerary I recommend you take above, so be sure to book a tour to Ateshgah Fire Temple when you are in Baku. Number 10. Spend the night away at Nizami Street. Last but not least, go for a walk along the pedestrian shopping street of Nizami, where you will find a ton of people, both locals and visitors, all walking up and down the street, socializing and eating and drinking their ways through the night. Along two sides of Nizami Street, you will find countless stores and restaurants for you to indulge yourself in. The street is especially lively on a Friday and Saturday night, so be sure to check out what's happening around Fountain Square. You can also go on a night walking tour around Baku, which is quite something to behold. Do subscribe Travel and Taste channel and like videos. For further videos, stay connected.